Hello everyone, welcome back to Prince and Nikki's channel. Thank you all for joining in today and watching this new project, which is Project Cuffy. We did previously bring you a few weeks ago an introduction to the project, and today we want to show you the groundworks, the digging and the column and mats. So first of all, I want to thank you all for joining and watching. Thank you for all the likes, subscribes and shares that you've done on our channel. What you're seeing on your screen is a visual 4D of the project. This project is a 5-bedroom which is in Grace City, Amanfrom. It is currently situated in phase 3, which is a really good location in terms of the town, isn't it?
A very good location. I think the roads are fantastic. I said to Mike, it's the only place I've been in Ghana where I say I enjoy driving to that place. It's great road, and it's not far from Aburi. From Aburi, it's about 20 minutes.
And that actually aligns with my experience because we went to Safari Valley when we was there last month, and it's the same area, isn't it? And the roads are really good up there, aren't they?
Yeah.
So a little bit more about Project Cuffy then. As I said, this is 5 bedrooms and the house size is 8,794 square feet. And it's built on just a little over one plot, isn't it, for Grace City sizes? Yes. If you want to have a look at the previous video for this where we introduced it, this video is on our channel. You just need to go over and have a look. This video shows you about the profile and how we did the setting out. For those of you who don't know, profiling is where you transfer your plan onto the land to look at the placement. So once you've got your design and everything sorted, the next thing that you would normally do, obviously if you're working with ourselves, is there's a number of pre-construction phases which we've talked about on our channel previously. But once we've done a program of works, we would then obviously agree a start date. What you're seeing on your screen now is a fence wall for the opposite plots. This is one of the other projects that we're currently working on at Grace City phase 3 as well. That is just currently the fence wall that they're doing, and they're just putting up a structure here which is for the security and storage of materials. So as I was saying, once we've got the program of works, then we're able to get hit the ground running.
So on this project, when the client approached us, after we did our estimate, we had some concerns about the structural drawing. By looking at it, we didn't feel that the structural drawing was good enough in terms of the loading of the building. So we said to the client, we will have to have a independent structural review, which we done. After we did it, the client forwarded those reviews to the designer. The designer phoned me. We had a chat about it. They subsequently produced some updates on their drawing. But following a further review, I just feel like our concerns were not being addressed. So we instruct our structural engineer to review the design and look at where the gaps are and see how can we address the issue. So he came back with a completely a new structural design. To just put it that in perspective, the original design got about 38 columns. Now we end up with 39 columns, and they are all double mats. As you see through the column setting, they are substantially more involving. They are double rings and stuff.
One thing I will add to that is it's really difficult, obviously, when you're project managing and you want to work for a client, you want to be looking at the best efficient way to do things, but we also need to take responsibility. And when we're seeing structural things, we will highlight those. At the end of the day, Prince is professional and qualified. He understands the structural side as well as architectural drawings. So just be mindful when you're buying plans, when you're buying them offline or from people, that they might look well, but they need to have the right structural as well, isn't it?
It is. I think one of the areas when you look at it is that even the amount of iron rods you need for the slab wasn't enough based on what was produced. Because as surveyors, there's basic check you do to find the adequacy of the design. So we find huge gaps, and I'm glad that we went the way we have gone with a new structural engineer, which will be very, very helpful.
Yeah, and it means the building will have more longevity as well, won't it?
Yeah, it's because the loading I was more. This building has got a lot of overhangs, a lot of large overhangs which need a more structural stability than using a blockwork to form those design fixtures wasn't the best solution design-wise. So
I think that's why sometimes you find and you come across, sometimes you see images of 4D homes. They look fantastic on the 4D, but actually when you see they're built, they don't necessarily match. But I think sometimes that's because the way the designs are, they might be international designs that actually the way the methods are in Ghana, that unless you're building with large construction plants and stuff like that, you can't transfer it.
How do you transfer that? How do you achieve that design? That is what we look at, to look at the details, to say the details is not there. What do you need to do to achieve that design? So we kept the architectural design intent and then working with the structural engineer to come up with a structural drawing to achieve that design intent.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's really important, and I think that's what people sometimes overlook in terms of the importance of project management and having someone that's got a professional skill set, so that's from everyone.
So currently we're working with a lot of clients which we just provide project management or specialist advice to. There are so many instances whereby there are a big gap between what the 3D says and what has transpired on site. And all this because those basic checks were not done what they needed to be done. And also when you're looking at the building from the very foundation stage, you need to be looking at the bigger picture. How do you achieve the end result? Your levels, everything needs to be checked. You cannot finish before thinking about your landscaping or how the building sits on the land.
Yeah, I think that's something that we've come across. We do help a lot of people off the channel where they're at different stages that have hit a brick wall because the builders are not able to progress because they don't know how to do it. If they're not technical, they do find difficulties. So we help where we can, and that's the whole purpose of this channel. We started with our own project and we do the best we can, but obviously we only have so many hours in a day, so we carry on. So let's move on then. So obviously we've done the digging. The actual digging itself initially was this design was 4 feet, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was about 4 feet, but when the guy, our structural engineer review is, I think we went from having
it was
foundation size up to 5.5 feet. So it was about 1.4 meters to about 1.6 meters. And as I said, the lounge also slopes a bit. So all those steps were put into it. Mike was just paying the tipper driver who delivered some materials.
But what you when you look at the 4D, you'll see the large feature designs at the front. That's a lot of load, isn't it? It's overhanging, and that needs to go somewhere. So that's why it needs to go deeper. Here you see on the screen, this is a basic shed storage area that we've done for security, for the material storage. We are heading into the rainy season. We wanted to make sure that we've done a minimum. So when you're doing these, then a minimum requirement to make sure that the materials are dry.
Yeah, it needs to be raised above the ground. So it needs to be minimum 1.5 feet above the ground. You need to fill it. You need to put a screed on top so that you can actually store material, cement and stuff in there. And in this case, this is where we got site security. In the night when people are not leave the site, we got people that sleep on the at the site to look at the materials, because when we were doing the fence wall initially, we had people who came and stole some cement. So site security is also another thing we've got here. Usually these are not part of our cost. The client is responsible for providing the materials and stuff. But on this project, it's a turnkey. The client just gives us the money to just go ahead. So we're responsible for buying the materials, arranging site security and everything as we go along. And I think that works better because logistic-wise, we're able to organize all the materials. So we bought all the materials. We were back in Ghana.
I think it's a trust thing, isn't it? People need to have the trust with you to be able to do everything. But what you're seeing on your screen, this is, we got to the stage, we've done the digging and we're now on to the mats.
Yeah, so you do a bit of sand blending is called. So here you put a concrete down. So this concrete you put in all the, where the column is going to go. Then you put the mat on it. So this takes the way. So we cast this, leave it the following day that it began to set. Then you'll see in some of the videos whereby the The mat is effectively the base of the column. This also you need reinforcement. So when there's a weight is transferred down the column, it's spread that evenly to the column base.
So what happens here? You see, this is the structural engineer that came on site.
Yeah, so the structural engineer here, what he's requesting is he requests we do a cube test. So he's just explaining to me how to do a cube test. Effectively, the cube test is to tell the structural engineer that our concrete mixes have achieved the design intent. So Mike was taking some concrete aside, but he was just explaining how to take the cube test. And then that cube test goes to the lab in Accra to do independent testing to determine that have we achieved the design intent. So in a few weeks, we should have the result back from the lab.
And we did testing on our own concrete, didn't we, on our own Prince and Nicky project. It's something that we're not, it's not unfamiliar to us. We wanted to achieve the structural integrity.
But this is a new designer, designer we're working with. So when I told him we got tests, he said, yeah, could I see those test results? Give me the test result. But he said, okay, that is good. But on this project, I want to establish my own baseline. So we're doing an independent concrete test in a lab in Accra. Once that is down, they will tell us the result, either we achieve the specification or not. But we're confident in every single project we've done. We've gone past the specification.
Yeah, and I think it's good that you're able to have a good pool of professionals that you're able to work with. So just taking you through then, what you see on the screen here, we've got the columns and we've got the mats. With the columns and mats, we use 16 mm, which is part of the structural design. We had our steel bender come down whilst we was doing the digging. He was preparing. He was doing the preparation of all those, and that the engineer comes and he checks the rings, he checks all the sizes and everything to make sure that it can all be signed off, so client satisfaction. And also we just make sure that everything's wound together.
Yeah. And I also said at this stage there's a lot of coordination happening, because for us to get to this stage, for the columns to be ready, the iron rods to be ready to go into the things, into the trenches, the column bases, he has to be on site at a very, very early stage. So because we cannot bring the materials on site, we find a house which is not far from the site for him to do all. You can see just checking the sizes, everything is checked. Then the engineer is happy before we proceed. So the quality check process is there. It doesn't matter wherever we are in terms of the project, whether we are in Cape Coast, we are in Accra, we are in Aburi.
What about the other project? We've got another project that's we haven't shown it on the channel. It's the confidential project. That one's at the top of a hill, so that's going to be fun for the guys trudging up the hill soon, isn't it? When they start going back there again. So they you know, the column and mats, they've prepared them. As Prince was saying, there's a lot of planning that goes into this. We have a full program of works. Obviously, where we have multiple projects going on, they come and go to different sites. However, prior to the digging stage, obviously, we've planned in everything that needs to happen prior to that. And equally, we're now at the point where they're doing the block works and getting prepared for the casting. So we'll be now planning and looking at the plumbing works coming in, making sure that everything's coordinated together.
And also what we have now improved upon is our pipe works, locations for where the pipes will go. So now in our foundation, the trenches, all those holes have been created where the pipes will go. So when the pipe, the plumber goes to site, it's not now going to chase the blocks. So it's just that continuous improvement. We bring it on from site to be more efficient, effectively.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we've always said, you know, this is YouTube. It's not a professional area. Everyone is kind of helping each other and everyone's learning. The space is big enough for everyone. My goodness, Ghana's developing. There's a lot of space. We're not perfect and we're trying to help people, but it takes time. In Ghana, people like to do things as they always done. With our own project, we make sure that we use people on our own project first to make sure they're good. Like with the Sika waterproofing that we've done on our own project, we put it on our own before we even start thinking about other people's. So there's been improvements, and yeah, we're moving on with the plumbing, aren't we? We've made good headway with the plumbers.
I think it's the way we work here, construction in the UK is completely different because you got the right tools for the job. So it's just in order to transfer that knowledge back, it's a learning process, trying to transfer that knowledge back.
Yeah. And also one of the things I'd like to say about the digging as well, I know previously people have commented when we was doing, I think it was Yao and some other ones, why don't you just save money on labour and actually buy a digger? But actually, there's a lot of considerations around that, isn't there, in terms of saving money versus the labour?
It is when you use a machine to dig it, your trenches are about 2 feet.
They're wider, you use
They're
more
wider,
material.
use more materials. When you use a hand to take it, the design tells you your trench should be 18 inches, which is about a foot and a half. So the bigger the trench, you're gonna use more concrete to cast your base. So effectively, and also
it's the way I see it as well is we always offer our guys, you know, we're always telling them you need to have the right, you know, gear and everything, but they want to do it the way they want to do it. So what you're seeing here on the screen, they're now setting out the mats and the columns. There's a variances in the different sizes. There was one very huge one, wasn't there?
Yeah. It depends on the weight, the loading. Those columns, they are big ones, they are small ones. There are some of them which don't go above the slab level. So depends on the loading of the building. So this is be fully modeled by the structural engineer based on the calculations to come up with the design. So currently, you can see majority are just being set. And the reason why you see those boards over there is because we found out that if we want to move all the soil all the way first, we're gonna lose another 2 days just collecting the soil. So it was easier for us to buy more boards so that the guys walk on the board, you know, that moving the wheelbarrows and stuff was more efficient way.
Yeah. This is the big column. Explain a little bit about
so
what
is
this
does. This is there's a big feature walls that goes all the way up to the roof. So that is what these column bases are. So it's handling a lot of load here. There is an overhang that also is part of it. So this is the design. Originally, in the original design, that column was only formed with block work. And we don't feel that with the amount of loading, bulk work is the right thing to do.
Yeah. And I think in the next video, when we're talking about the block work for the footings, we'll probably explain to you about why some of those columns and footing works don't continue all the way through. But we haven't got the time for this video. We can talk about that in the next, just to explain why some of them are not continuing.
Yeah, I think it's because the design got a lot of sleeper walls, and also based on that sleeper walls, the concern is when you began to put a lot of F3 without additional supports, they could break. So that is why he introduced all those additional columns. So this is another feature, again, being said here. So there's another feature, if you can cast your eye back to the 3D.
There's like 3 big features on the 4D design. But yeah, I mean, as you can see, that there's a lot of time and effort that goes into this in terms of getting it right. They're constantly checking against the architectural and the structural drawings. You need to have the two together. It's really important that you look at the two together because that's where errors can be made. So once the column and the mats are done, then we cast the footings prior to us being ready to move on to the block work.
Yes, the footings are cast usually about 1 foot thick. Cast. In this case, we had to. This actually takes about 3 days with 3 machines actually. In order to cast it.
I think we use 3 machines. We're mindful of the rainy seasons coming, and we've had quite a few rains in the past week, haven't we?
And also when we caused this design, the total length of the footing were 530 feet. The final design that we build is 800 feet. So there's more concrete work and more digging, which the guys have to do on site.
Yeah.
See how deep the trench is. That man is.
It's up to their chest height, so it's very, very deep, solid. But yeah, I think we've done good progress. Let us know in the comments below if you like what you see. If you've got any comments or questions, you know, just hit us up and ask us. Obviously, we're always happy to help and share the knowledge we can where possible. Obviously, we're getting a lot of traffic in terms of emails and asking us, and just give us the grace where you can, guys. We can reply as many as we can. Same with the comments, but you know, we're very busy people. We have a family as well. But yeah, so this is Project Coffee, Grace City Phase 3. It's a lovely area. There's other people posting up on Grace City. You can see their projects and the area. If you're starting there soon, you can get a good sight. Prince took some great drone footage whilst he was up there, which is also in the former video. So yeah, thank you for joining us today. We will be bringing more content on this. Also, thank you for watching our recent videos on our own project, Prince and Nikki's build. We have had a lot of views and interest in that, where we did the waterproofing video. And we just want to thank you and give a shout out to our other projects. Obviously, Project Yao and Casa Josie are on a staged break at the moment before they reorganise themselves for the next stage. And Lashibi, they're at the roofing stage, so they've done a good project with that as well.
Roofing now.
Also, the project Royal Hill, which
for me the ring cutters, the ring cutters are being formed. The ring cutters are being formed.
And obviously we have Royal Hill, which we name Royal Hill, but it's not going to be.
It's a secret project. It's a secret project.
So yeah, there's lots of things going on as well. But thank you for all, and we just wanted to shout out our other projects just to let them know that we wish them well, and obviously we're looking forward to bringing you the content in the future. Thank you all for watching today, and we look forward to bringing you more on Project Coffee. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. See you soon.